7.9. On one occasion, the Blessed One was dwelling among the Kosalans on the bank of the river Sundarika. Now on that occasion, the Brahmin Sundarika Bharadvaja was offering a fire sacrifice and performing the fire oblation on the bank of the river Sundarika. Then the Brahmin Sundarika Bharadvaja, having offered the fire sacrifice and performed the fire oblation, rose from his seat and surveyed the four quarters all around, wondering, who now might eat this sacrificial cake? Stop here for a moment. So here, after praying and offering all that food, he's thinking, who can he give the food to? It's in a way like our Chinese also. We pray to the gods, and after that, either the Chinese, they eat the food themselves or they give it to others. Then the Brahmin Sundarika Bharadvaja saw the Blessed One sitting at the foot of a tree with his head covered. Having seen him, he took the sacrificial cake in his left hand and the water pot in his right hand and approached the Blessed One. When the Blessed One heard the sound of the Brahmin's footsteps, he uncovered his head. Then the Brahmin Sundarika Bharadvaja, thinking, this worthy is shaven-headed, this worthy is a shaveling, wanted to turn back. But it occurred to him, some Brahmins here are also shaven-headed. Let me approach him and inquire about his birth. Let's stop here for a moment. You may have seen this, the Hare Krishna monks. They have a little, they are bald except for a little hair, tuft of hair at the back. So I think Brahmins are like that. So this guy, he wanted to offer his food to a Brahmin, but when he saw the Buddha clean shaven, he didn't want to give. He wanted to go away. Then suddenly he thought, maybe some Brahmins also are like that. Then the Brahmin Sundarika Bharadvaja approached the Blessed One and said to him, what is the worthy one's birth? What clan do you belong to? And the Buddha said, ask not of birth, but ask of conduct. Fire is indeed produced by any wood. A resolute sage, though from low family, is a thoroughbred restrained by a sense of shame. The sacrificer should invoke this one tamed by truth, perfect by taming, who has reached the end of knowledge, a fulfiller of the holy life. Then he makes a timely oblation to one worthy of offerings. And the Brahmin said, surely my sacrifice is well performed, as I have seen such a knowledge master. Because I had not seen those like yourself, other people ate the sacrificial cake. Let Master Gotama eat, the worthy is a Brahmin. And again the Buddha said in a similar way, food over which verses have been sung, he does not accept. Then the Brahmin said, then Master Gotama, should I give this sacrificial cake to someone else? And the Buddha said, I do not see anyone, Brahmin, in this world with its devas, Mara and Brahma, in this generation with its ascetics and Brahmins, its devas and humans, who could eat and properly digest this sacrificial cake, except the Tathagata or a disciple of the Tathagata. Therefore, Brahmin, throw away the sacrificial cake in a place where there is sparse vegetation, or dispose of it in water where there are no living beings. I'll stop here for a moment. So the Buddha is saying, since this cake has been offered to the Buddha, nobody else is qualified to eat it except the Buddha and his disciples. So the Buddha asked him to throw it away in a place where there is little vegetation. Why? Because plants have fairies inside them. So if you throw food over plants, you dirty the plants, and these fairies are not happy. And also, if you throw it in water where there's living beings, and if the food is oily, the living beings may die. So the Buddha, that's why the Buddha said this. Then the Brahmin Sundarika Bharadvaja disposed of that sacrificial cake in water where there were no living beings. When it was disposed of in the water, that sacrificial cake sizzled and hissed and gave off steam and smoke, just as a plowshare heated all day sizzles and hisses and gives off steam and smoke if placed in water. So too that sacrificial cake, when disposed of in the water, sizzled and hissed and gave off steam and smoke. Then the Brahmin Sundarika Bharadvaja, shocked and terrified, approached the Blessed One and stood to one side. The Blessed One then addressed him in with verses. When kindling wood, Brahmin, do not imagine this external deed brings purity. For experts say no purity is gained by one who seeks it outwardly. Having given up the fire made from wood, I kindle, O Brahmin, the inner light alone, always ablaze, my mind always concentrated. I am an Arahant living the holy life. Conceit, O Brahmin, is your shoulder load, anger the smoke, false speech the ashes, the tongue is the ladle, the heart the altar. A well-tamed self is the light of a man. The Dhamma is a lake with fords of virtue, limpid, praised by the good to the good, where the knowledge masters go to bathe, and dry limbed cross to the far shore. Truth, Dhamma, restraint, the holy life, attainment of Brahma based on the middle path. Pay homage, O Brahmin, to the upright ones. I call that person one impelled by Dhamma. But now it says here, based on the middle. I just added the middle part. So when this was said, the Brahmin Sundarika Bharadvaja said to the Blessed One, Magnificent Master Gautama, Magnificent Master Gautama. So in the same way, he took refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha and asked to go forth. And later, he became an Arahant also. So here you see I don't know whether the Buddha used his psychic power or what, because when he threw the cake into the water, it was as though a hot metal piece had been dropped into water, hissed and all that. It frightened him. So then he believed that the Buddha was actually a holy man. So he asked to go forth. The next sutta is quite interesting, 7.10. On one occasion, the Blessed One was dwelling among the Kosalans in a certain woodland thicket. Now on that occasion, 14 oxen belonging to a certain Brahmin of the Bharadvaja clan had gotten lost. Then the Brahmin of the Bharadvaja clan, while searching for those oxen, went to the woodland thicket where the Blessed One was staying. There he saw the Blessed One sitting with his legs folded crosswise, holding his body erect, having set up mindfulness in front of him. Having seen him, he approached the Blessed One and recited these verses in the presence of the Blessed One. Surely this ascetic does not have 14 oxen that have gotten lost, not seen now for the past 6 days. Hence this ascetic is happy. Surely this ascetic does not have a field of blighted sesamum plants, some with 1 leaf, some with 2. Hence this ascetic is happy. Surely this ascetic does not have rats inside an empty barn, dancing around merrily. Hence this ascetic is happy. Surely this ascetic does not have a blanket that for 7 months has been covered with swarms of vermin. Hence this ascetic is happy. Surely this ascetic does not have 7 daughters left for widows, some with 1 son, some with 2. Hence this ascetic is happy. Surely this ascetic does not have a thorny wife with pock-marked face who wakes him up with a kick. Hence this ascetic is happy. Surely this ascetic does not have creditors who call at dawn, chiding him, pay up, pay up. Hence this ascetic is happy. So when the Buddha heard him speak this, the Buddha replied, Surely Brahmin, I do not have 14 oxen that have gotten lost, not seen now for the past 6 days. Hence, Brahmin, I am happy. Surely, Brahmin, I do not have a field of blighted sesamum plants, some with 1 leaf, some with 2. Hence, O Brahmin, I am happy. Surely, Brahmin, I do not have rats inside an empty barn, dancing around merrily. Hence, O Brahmin, I am happy. Surely, Brahmin, I do not have a blanket that for 7 months has been covered with swarms of vermin. Hence, O Brahmin, I am happy. Surely, Brahmin, I do not have 7 daughters left for widows, some with 1 son, some with 2. Hence, O Brahmin, I am happy. Surely, Brahmin, I do not have a thorny wife with pock-marked face who wakes me up with a kick. Hence, O Brahmin, I am happy. Surely, Brahmin, I do not have creditors who call at dawn, chiding me, pay up, pay up. Hence, O Brahmin, I am happy. And this was said, the Brahmin of the Bharadvaja clan said to the Blessed One, Magnificent Master Gautama, magnificent And he took refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha and asked to go forth. And later he also became an Arahant. So these verses here are quite amusing. He says, because the Buddha surely is not like him now, all the 14 cattle, this oxen toss. And then he planted these sesame plants and probably not enough water or what. They didn't sprout properly. Some only have one leaf, some 2 leaves. And then his barn or his store is empty except for rats. Then his blanket, 7 months, is covered with vermin. Maybe 7 months he not able to use it or what. And then he has 7 daughters whose husbands have died. So they all come back to him. He has to look after them. So because of that, he's, every morning the creditors, the along will come to him asking him to pay up. So he got so much problems on his hands. So when he compared himself with the Buddha, I said, Buddha is so happy compared to him. So he decided to go forth and became an Arahant later. 7.11. On one occasion, the Blessed One was dwelling among the Magadhans at Dakkhinagiri, near the Brahmin village of Ekanala. Now on that occasion, the Brahmin Kasi Bharadvaja the ploughman, had 500 ploughs fastened to their yokes at the time of sowing. Then in the morning, the Blessed One dressed, and taking bowl and robe, went to the place where the Brahmin Kasi Bharadvaja was at work. Now on that occasion, the Brahmin Kasi Bharadvaja's food distribution was taking place. Then the Blessed One approached the place of the food distribution and stood to one side. The Brahmin Kasi Bharadvaja saw the Blessed One standing for alms and said to him, Recluse, I plough and sow, and when I have ploughed and sown, I eat. You too, ascetic, ought to plough and sow. Then when you have ploughed and sown, you will eat. I stop here for a moment. So this Brahmin must have been a rich man. He got 500 ploughs all ready to work, to sow seeds and all that. So all his workers must have been standing ready to work. So it was food time. So the Buddha came to ask for alms. Then he thought the Buddha, like a lot of people think monks are lazy people, only beg for their food and then go and sleep. So he told the Buddha, we have to work for our food. You also ought to work for your food. And the Buddha said, I too, Brahmin, plough and sow. And when I have ploughed and sown, I eat. And he said, but we do not see Master Gautama's yoke or plowshare or goat or oxen. Yet Master Gautama says, I too, Brahmin, plough and sow. And when I have ploughed and sown, I eat. Then the Brahmin Kasi Bharadvaja addressed the Blessed One in verse. You claim to be a man who works the plough. I do not see your ploughing. If you are a ploughman, answer me, how should we understand your ploughing? And the Buddha said, faith is the seed, austerity the rain, wisdom my yoke and plough, shame the pole, mind the yoke tie, mindfulness my plowshare and goad, guarded in body, guarded in speech, control in my appetite for food. I use truth as my weeding hook, and gentleness as my unyoking. Energy is my beast of burden, carrying me to security from bondage. It goes ahead without stopping, to where, having gone, one does not sorrow. In such a way, this ploughing is done, which has the deathless as its fruit. Having finished this work of ploughing, one is released from all suffering. And he said, let Master Gautama eat. The worthy is a ploughman, since Master Gautama does ploughing that has even the deathless as its fruit. And the Buddha said, food over which verses have been sung is not fit to be eaten by the Buddha and all that. And this was said, the Brahmin Kasi Bharadvaja said to the Blessed One, Magnificent Master Gautama, Magnificent Master Gautama. The Dhamma has been made clear in many ways by Master Gautama, as though he were turning upright what had been turned upside down, revealing what was hidden, showing the way to one who was lost, or holding up a lamp in the dark for those with eyesight to see forms. I go for refuge to Master Gautama and to the Dhamma and to Bhikkhu Sangha. Let Master Gautama remember me as a lay follower who from today has gone for refuge for life. So So in the end, he realized that the Buddha also works in a different way, works to attain the deathless. So he was impressed, so he became a follower of the Buddha. But you see here, he didn't ask to go forth and become a monk, probably because he was a very rich man. 7.12, the Savati. Then in the morning, the Blessed One dressed and taking bowl and robe, approached the residence of the Brahmin Udaya. Then the Brahmin Udaya filled the Blessed One's bowl with rice. The second time in the morning, that means the next day, the Blessed One dressed and taking bowl and robe approached the residence of the Brahmin Udaya. And the third time in the morning, that means on the third day, also the Buddha, the Blessed One dressed and taking bowl and robe approached the residence of the Brahmin Udaya. Then for the third time the Brahmin Udaya filled the Blessed One's bowl with rice, after which he said to the Blessed One, "This pesky ascetic Gautama keeps coming again and again." Stop here for a moment. You notice here among the suttas that many of these Brahmins, they know who the Buddha is. They mention Master Gautama or Samana Gautama. But this guy, this last one, the Buddha came consecutively, day after day for 3 days, and he was getting annoyed already. He said, "This pesky ascetic keeps coming again and again." And the Buddha said, "Again and again they sow the seed. Again and again the sky god sends down rain. Again and again the plowmen plow the field. Again and again grain comes to the realm. Again and again the mendicants beg, the monks. Again and again the donors give. When donors have given again and again they go to heaven. Again and again the dairy folk draw milk. Again and again the calf goes to its mother. Again and again one wearies and trembles. Again and again the doe enters the womb, or the fool enters the womb. Again and again one is born and dies. Again and again they take one to the cemetery. But when one has obtained the path that leads to no more renewed existence, having become broad in wisdom, one is not born again and again. And this was said, the Brahmin Udaya said to the Blessed One, "Magnificent Master Gautama, magnificent Master Gautama." Then he took the 3 refuges and asked to be a lay follower for the rest of his life. So here the verses sound very nice. The Buddha is saying, life is like that. Everything repeats again and again. So if a person does charity and again, so he goes to heaven again and again. 7.13. Now on that occasion the Blessed One was afflicted by winds, and the Venerable Upavana was his attendant. Then the Blessed One addressed the Venerable Upavana thus, "Come now, Upavana, find some hot water for me." Let's stop here for a moment. You see here, it's mentioned that Venerable Upavana was the attendant of the Buddha. In our Buddhist tradition, a senior monk will have a junior monk who attends to him, who serves him. And in his later years, the Buddha chose Ananda to be his attendant because the Buddha taught for how long? 45 years. So the first half, the first about 20 years, the Buddha kept changing attendants. Only about the last 25 years, Venerable Ananda served the Buddha. And Venerable Ananda was not young, Venerable Ananda, if I am not mistaken, at the same age as the Buddha. Then, so here in this sutta, the Buddha was afflicted with winds, Yao Feng. So why is this? Because the Buddha and his monks, they beg for their food. Sometimes they get poor food, or sometimes they don't get enough to eat. So like the other day we read, there's even a case where the Buddha did not get any food for the whole morning. He begged. So because of that, sometimes he has this gastric problem, flatulence, wind. So he asked this attendant, Venerable Upavana, to find some hot water. "Yes, Venerable Sir," the Venerable Upavana replied. Then he dressed, and taking bowl and robe, went to the residence of the Brahmin Deva Hita, where he stood silently to one side. The Brahmin Devahita saw the Venerable Upavana standing silently to one side and addressed him in verse. You notice when our Buddhist monks beg for anything, we don't open our mouth, we just keep quiet. Then normally people give food, or in this case it's evening, so probably evening. So the man probably knew that there was something wrong, I wanted something. So the man asked, "Silent the worthy one stands, shaven-headed, clad in a stitched robe. What do you want? What do you seek? What have you come here to beg?" And the Venerable Upavana said, "The Arahant, the fortunate one in the world." This fortunate one, I think, is a translation for Sugata. The sage is afflicted with winds. If there is any hot water, Brahmin, please give it for the sage. He is worshipped by those worthy of worship, honored by those worthy of honor, respected by those worthy of respect. It is to him that I wish to take it. So the monk is telling this man that he's asking for water, hot water for a holy man. Then the Brahmin Devahita ordered a man to bring a carrying pole with hot water and presented a bag of molasses to the Venerable Upavana. Molasses is this sugar. Then the Venerable Upavana approached the Blessed One. He had the Blessed One bathed with the hot water, and he mixed the molasses with hot water and offered it to him. Then the Blessed One's ailments subsided. Then the Brahmin Devahita approached the Blessed One and exchanged greetings with him, after which he sat down to one side and addressed the Blessed One in verse. Where should one give a proper gift? Where does a gift bear great fruit? How, for one bestowing alms, does an offering bring success? Just how? So he's asking the Buddha, if a person wants to do charity, how to get a lot of merit. And the Buddha said, one who has known his past abodes, his past lives, who sees heaven and the plains of war, who has reached the destruction of birth, a sage consummate in direct knowledge. Here one should give a proper gift. Here a gift bears great fruit. That's how, for one bestowing alms, an offering brings success. Just so. When this was said, the Brahmin Devahita said to the Blessed One, magnificent, magnificent Master Gautama, magnificent. Then in the same way, he took refuge and asked to be a lay follower of the Buddha. So I think I will stop here for tonight. The suttas have been quite interesting. Any questions? Anything to discuss? Yeah. The farmer with the pock-marked face wife, is it? Yeah. You see, a lot of these Vinaya rules were established after problems arose. So, in the initial stages, there were no precepts. And then slowly the Buddha made all these rules as he went along. And that's one thing. So it could be that this was a time when the rules were not there yet. Secondly, although these rules the Buddha made for the monks, but sometimes he, being the teacher, does not have to abide by the rules. So there are exceptions, especially like for the Buddha, he has the psychic ability to see who is worthy of going forth, who is not worthy of going forth. Also, maybe because the Buddha has so much lay supporters, if necessary, he could probably ask some rich supporter to help pay off this man's debt and so on. Actually, the Buddha says that he has been to all the realms of existence, has been born in all the realms of existence, except in the Suddhavasa heavens, because the Suddhavasa heavens, only Anagamins can be reborn there. And if you are born as an Anagamin, you will never go to any more rebirth. You only enter Nibbana from there. So that also shows that all of us, if we have come to the level of a human being, that means we have taken rebirth umpteen number of times. So we have also probably become monks many lifetimes already. So that is for everybody, because the round of rebirth is so long. The Buddha says the tears that we have shed in the round of rebirth is more than the 4 oceans, here referring to the 4 oceans in heaven. And the blood that we have spilled in the round of samsara is also more than the waters of the 4 oceans in the heaven. So in other words, we have been in samsara for so long. That's why now we are mature to the extent that we are interested in the Dhamma. Any person is interested in the Dhamma, the truth, that means that person is spiritually very mature already. That means you probably also have been ascetic and all that in the past life.
Chapter 7, one part that it seems all those Brahmans, once they go home, they become an Arahant. Is that because of their practice?
Not necessarily Brahmins. You see, those people whom the Buddha accepted as disciples, firstly they have the Buddha as their teacher. And they were surrounded by Arahant monks. Right? There were a lot of Arahants during those days. So, if you are surrounded by this company of holy men, you'll be ashamed if you are lazy. Because they can read your mind. Every night if you go up and sleep early, they know. If after your meal you go and sleep in the afternoon also, they know how to be lazy. Like the Venerable Mahamoggallana, he was an external sect ascetic before he became the Buddha's disciple. Then after he became the Buddha's disciple, the Buddha taught him the Dhamma and taught him how to meditate. So he was practicing very hard. Every night he was trying not to sleep, practicing, because that's the way the Buddha taught his disciples to maintain sati 24 hours a day. Mindfulness. So after a few nights of not sleeping, he was nodding his head already at night. Nodding his head. Then the Buddha came to him. As usually is mentioned, the Buddha, from the top of the head, a golden body will come out. Exactly like the flesh body, but golden in color. So the Buddha went to him and told him, Moggallana, don't be, half asleep there, drowsing. Use more energy. Then after the Buddha advised him, the Buddha went off. So how do you think he will react? The Buddha can see me, the Buddha can hear me. I think how to be lazy? So he put more effort. Within 7 days became an Arahant. One of the fastest. Sariputta 14 days. Mahakassapa 8 days. So you see, because you have such a teacher, you dare not be lazy. And if you are diligent and you are practicing the right path, the Buddha says it doesn't take so long to become enlightened.
I mean, during the meditation, sometimes it's not like purpose, opinions, but to put in more energy.
Firstly, before you come for the meditation, you got to be sure you're not too tired. If you are too tired, then however much energy you put also, you won't be have a good meditation. Right? And try to sleep the minimum that you require, because if you oversleep, then the mind runs, so the asavas, mental uncontrolled mental outflows flow so strongly that when you sit in meditation, it's very hard to discipline the mind. So like the Buddha tells his disciples not to rest more than 4 hours. So if you want, you can try. If you normally sleep, say 7 hours, you try to sleep 6 hours. And then that 1 hour, instead of sleeping, if you feel very tired, then you lie down, but you try to keep awake that 1 hour. And then if you can do it, then you reduce further. You try 5.5 hours of actual sleep. You put the alarm clock. After you get up, if you can do walking meditation, you do. If you are tired, you lie down, but you try to fight sleep. Try to do some chanting, Namo Tassa or something, just to keep awake. So, you see, actually, scientific research has shown that the mind actually needs 2.5 hours of sleep a night. But the mind is enough. The only thing is the body is a bit exhausted. So, if the body is exhausted, if we lie down, it helps a lot. If we lie down, we are not the body can relax. If we don't lie down, the heart has got to pump up and down, pump up and down. Even you sit also, the heart has got to do quite a lot of work, pumping the blood. But when you lie down, then the heart is relaxed. It doesn't have to pump up and down. Pump sideways, horizontally is much less work. And so all our limbs also, because we are resting, is on the bed or anything, then we feel very relaxed. So the trick is to do with your minimum sleep and rest. So that's why for a meditator, physical work it's not compatible. If you do a lot of physical work, or if you make yourself physically exhausted, then it's very difficult to cultivate the mind. So, like the light work that you all do here is quite suitable. I sweep the floor and all that. You don't feel exhausted. So the trick is when you are tired to lie down, but try not to fall asleep. Once you fall asleep, the mind runs, and then to catch it back is very difficult.
I mean, sometimes because you lie down, even though it was very hard to keep them, somehow you just doze off and sleep. But would it be better that, okay, you doze off and sleep and try to wake up and get up from sleeping? You lie down and try to do sleeping.
You have to experiment, do see what is suitable for you. Now what I do is that I do the chant of 32 parts of the body. Head, hair, body hair, nails, teeth, skin, flesh. And then I purposely have a clock in my kuti, which is a bit on the louder side. When it goes tick, tock, you can hear it. So I go head, hair, body, hair, nails, teeth, skin, flesh. Then it's easier to not to fall asleep. Because you have to synchronize with that clock. then it helps. If I just chant head, hair, body, hair, after a while I also I fall asleep. Nothing to... so, the tricks of the trade. Dana and Sila are supporting factors. Not only that, there are other things like being friendly with other people, not to get into arguments and quarrels with other people. If you are pleasant with other people, people are also pleasant to you. If you try to make yourself useful to others, like for example in the monastery, you see whatever the monastery needs to be done, you make an effort to do. Then because all these wholesome deeds give you happiness, you see, when you reflect on it, gives you happiness. And this happiness will support your meditation. Your mind can calm down easier. But some people, they are very petty. Then they don't like this. They have a lot of wants and likes and dislikes and all that. And then the mind is not happy. When the mind is not happy, it cannot come down. You have to know how to make your mind. Actually, you want happiness. You got to give happiness to others. When you give happiness to others, then you get back happiness. Mm. 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 Always have to use our wisdom. Karma also. Some people's karma is such that nobody likes. Now, of course, we have to we have to use our wisdom. Like in the case of that old man, we don't throw him out. Some places might throw him out. In fact, we even try to ask locally a few places, the old folks' home, but because his karma is no good, nobody wanted to help him. Can't hear you. Shout.